Welcome to NBAF Reimagined, where every week we bring you some of the most compelling movers and shakers within Atlanta's art scene. Thank you for tuning in to NBAF Reimagined.
My name is rEN Dillard. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm a visual artist, spoken word artist, and I've lived in Philadelphia for a long time. And my parents are in Savannah, Georgia, and they kind of got tired of traveling all the way to Philadelphia. So I thought about what's the next biggest city I can move to without actually moving back home to the small town where I grew up. And so Atlanta seemed at the time to be a perfect fit. And so I've been here ever since. That was 2012. I like to say that my work is sort of translating philosophical ideas to my people in a way that I don't see happening. I've read all sorts of rare books, the Okeeba Vita, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Kabbalion, the Secret Doctrine by Madame H.P. Blavatsky, just all sorts of different books about philosophy, which is what I'm intensely interested in. And so I feel like a lot of brothers like me don't get exposed to that kind of thought. And so my work has always been centered around how can I visually translate these ideas and these concepts to people who may not be exposed to it otherwise. I worked in logistics for a very long time. I was a logistics guy for multiple Fortune 500 companies, and I've sat at boardroom tables and done all that stuff. There was a point though where I felt like I had to make a transition to a more creative atmosphere, and so it was like every week I was dying a little bit, doing what I was doing, almost being a cog in the wheel of this huge Fortune 500 company. And so I started to try and develop ways to sustain myself as an artist, and the business side of it is slowly but surely just kind of started to blossom. I sell work directly to collectors on my website. I also work for artists in general, almost like an art advocate. So I try to curate art shows with artists. I wrote for a magazine for a while. Actually, that just ended this past year because the magazine went under. I won't mention their name, but I did that for a while, just really trying to expose people to artists that they wouldn't otherwise be exposed to. And that has led to a lot of really good things, and probably the best things that I'm able to take care of my family. Well, just like anything, it's almost a leap of faith. So you have to kind of really trust yourself and not feel the pressure to kind of succumb to society's ideas about what your life should be. So I like to almost think about it in terms of Exodus, almost in the Bible. So, these people knew they didn't want to be slaves, but they didn't really have a real plan about, what they wanted to do outside of just breaking away from slavery. So when they broke away from slavery, they spent 40 years out in the wilderness, just wandering for a while. And so that's sort of the challenge that I think a lot of people face when you realize that, wait a minute, I've been a slave for this machine all this time. I may not necessarily know what I want to do, but I know that I don't want to do this. So that's been sort of the challenge, is just trying to eke out a career for the most part, and kind of change the momentum of your life, especially if you're somebody who is creative. I've heard it put this way: if you do what's inside of you, it'll save you. If you suppress what's inside of you, it'll kill you. And so, that I can almost sometimes feel my blood pressure coming down now while I'm actually working with artists and working with creative elements, in society. So that's a totally different shift from what I was doing before. And but that's been a big challenge too. I can't remember the author who said it, but she said you have to jump off a cliff and build your wings on the way down. And I want to say that's kind of what I've done over time. But it's been a great journey. I would say that a strong collector base, that's something that every artist would love to have, and that comes with exposure. That comes with support from the community in general. What I've tried to do is support other artists in that way. So again, artists who I've seen, who I know who work hard in the studio all the time, and I'm always talking to them. They're always bouncing ideas off of me, and I'm bouncing ideas off of them. But there's no platform for that work to be shown. I feel like I'm sort of a self-starter, where I'm not going to wait for somebody to tell me, oh, well, I'm going to open the door, I'm going to be a gatekeeper and let you come in and show your work. No, I'm going to see if I can generate a platform or a space so that we can put on our own shows. And I think we need support with that kind of thing, because I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but Black artists in general kind of get the short end of the stick, when it comes down to the finance aspect of it. And so, anything that we can get as far as infrastructure that will actually help build that atmosphere so that artists can thrive, that's what I'm intensely interested in. Well, right now I'm trying to basically get rid of a lot of the work that I've had as far as in inventory and storage and different spaces where I've shown my work. So I'm trying to clean house right now, and I'm kind of making sweetheart deals with people so that I can create space for new work. And so all of this year of 2019, I've been kind of beating the pavement and really kind of being out in the public eye. I'm looking forward to 2020, actually going back in the studio and really focusing on what my message is going to be as an artist. They say that you start out learning the craft of creating art. And then you have to kind of get to the space where you figure out what it is you want to say. And then ultimately, you have to figure out how to monetize it and make money from it. So I feel like I've done a good bit of that. So now I want to go all the way back to using different materials, using different concepts within my work, and then just basically trying to take it to the next level. So that's my plan personally with my art. And at South Fulton Art Center, I've been able to curate a lot of different art shows, all of those shows on this back wall back here. So I've been really fortunate to work with a lot of different artists, and I'm really looking forward to trying to propel that into the future in 2020 as well. I have a whole slate of ideas and artists that I'm planning on working with this year as well.
Jubalo, who is coming to South Fulton February 15, 2020 with his exhibition Atlanta. So with over 20 years of experience in the arts industry as an artist, as a curator, you really get to focus on anything. So why Atlanta? Why this? So why Atlanta? Why this theme? So why Atlanta? Why this theme?
Open this window and let me fly free or die. Existence inside the 6-figure box with keys but no locks to open makes my mind tired from dreaming. Days moving like months, gas stations and blunts in full circle. 360 degrees, but divided into 490-degree angles. The box thinking inside, grinning and bending. My pride that never breaks, only ranges in size and change. The only constant remains is change, changing itself into dreams. These words taste good in my mouth, so I speak to eat. Saw heaven in a wildflower. I've met the devil in some dark hours. We know more and more about less and less till now. We know everything about nothing. Living in this vacuum, hoping I'll make up some slack soon. A black moon in a white sky, a black truth and a white lie, jet black suit with a white tie. I see better looking through my mind's eye. We might buy just what we want, but be begging for what we need. Be praying and pleading, busting our knuckles until we bleed, till your hairline recedes like the ocean at low tide. Our mighty rivers run deep, but flow wide. I tell from the dark side, so I often get ignored by the light. Turn my pen into a sword when I write. Got you praying to your Lord late at night, speaking confessions. Curses then blessings, asking him questions. In fact, see, I'm slightly deficient with low potassium, speeding past the sun with my wax wings, having plastic fun. Life's a sarcastic one, full of ironies. Why won't they hire me? I've got skills, possess a sense of camaraderie. The reason's gotta be that the box still lives inside of me. And somewhere deep inside of my freedom, I am trapped. Somewhere trapped deep inside of my freedom. These words taste good in my mouth, so I speak to eat secrets. Now you all know mine.